Hi guys, you're welcome back to the channel, and it's your girl Adefemi Shimaski. You're welcome to my channel. This is a safe space where we talk about everything that has to do with, getting ourselves better, enlightening ourselves, immigration tips here and there, motherhood, fitness, lifestyle. It's a safe space for us to get better and better versions of ourselves. This week I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues, and we are just talking, and it was just like, oh, that he's done with schooling, that he's had enough of all this schooling stuff and all that. After all, he's not even using what he studied in school, and that education is a scam. And I'm like, oh, does that mean you will not allow your child to go to school? And he's like, no, it's not that. But then all the money, look at all the money we waste on having education, going to school. At the end of the day, it doesn't equate to you being successful. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I get your point. I understand the fact that, yeah, you have a point. That's true. But then education has its own benefit. Even if you don't go to school, the traditional school, like you don't go to college or you don't go to uni, some form of education, you still need to enlighten yourself. You still need to like read, study in a way, either homeschooling or whatever way you want to go about it. But then education is important. It gives you orientation, it gives you an edge. I know that experience plays a lot of role, bigger role than whatever qualification you've got, especially in the Western world. Experience is a big deal, is a big thing. Overrules your level of education and all of that. But there are still some jobs that qualification is very important. If I would say over and over again, I appreciate the fact that I was sent to school. Whatever road my children decides to go through or whatever, they still need to have some form of education. They need to go to uni, they need to go to college, because it's very, very important. And I feel like it gives you an edge, even if you don't use that certificate. If you become a footballer tomorrow, I used to say this all the time, if you don't have education, if you don't have some form of qualification, if you break your leg, what's going to happen to you? If you're an actress, God forbid, something happens to your face, that's that job gone. Are you going to survive? But some level of qualification, some level of, education, it might not be a qualification, some level of education would give you an edge against others. So that is what we're going to be discussing today. In this age and era that everything is now high, things are changing. While I think, or I feel like education and knowledge matter more than ever. The world is becoming digital, and you need to evolve, and you need some form of education, some form of enlightenment to do that. Have you ever stopped to think about how the world is fast changing? Like, have you ever thought about it? New technology, new careers, new challenges. If you are not well equipped, you'll be left behind. What worked 10 years ago might not even exist today. I was struggling with something as minute as adding a poll to an email, and I just messed it up. It has remained constant and even more powerful, which is education and the continuous pursuit of knowledge. Very, very important. You don't have to go to a traditional school to get knowledge, but you need it. Learning doesn't stop at school. Children are starting to grow up to say, oh, they think education is not important because it doesn't equate success, it doesn't equate money. But no, when most people hear the word education, they think classrooms, degrees, certificates. Those things are valid. They are important. Education goes far beyond those things. If you're not educated, what do you have to offer? People say, what do you bring to the table? What you have upstairs is very, very important. And that goes beyond formal schooling. Oh, I'm just figuring out my life. I'm just figuring out my life. I don't even know what I want to do with myself. Like, I see kids say that thing, and I'm like, you need proper counseling. I'm not interested in a particular field, but I'm just curious. I want to know how it works. You don't just need a certificate. You need competence, and that is what makes you stand out anywhere you go to look for a job. The most educated people today are not always those with the most degrees, but those who never stop learning. We are living in the information age. Knowledge is currency. There are some things that you will not know how to do. Someone knows how to do it, and you have to pay for them to teach you or for them to do that thing for you. Most of the careers that we have today, they don't even exist 10 to 15 years. You hear people say, oh, I'm a content creator, and I'm like, hello? And they're making money. They're cashing out. If they don't educate themselves, what do they have to educate other people? Those who are thriving today are not necessarily the most talented people or the most adaptable. So if you say you don't want to go to school, I understand. Adaptability comes from learning. You can't just wake up every day and you're playing games. People say they make money from gaming, but then, is that all you want to do with your life? One of the most underrated benefits of education will be protection. Education protects you from being misled. You're not taken advantage of. It gives you orientation, ask better questions. You recognize red flags. You make wiser choices. And I know that people that are badly behaved are both the educated ones. Those are special cases. The educated illiterates that refuse to learn or relearn. said, knowledge builds your confidence. It's not arrogance, it's just confidence. It makes you know who you are, what you stand for, what you're going to take, what you're capable of doing. You move differently when you're educated. And I feel like I cannot just say, oh, schooling is not important, because it's important. Which way can we actually get educated faster if you don't go to school? Especially for women, parents, and people that are navigating multiple identities, education becomes a tool of empowerment. You transition to a new country. Maybe when you are still finding your feet, your qualification might not be important. When you are stable, that qualification will help you not to shrink yourself or to just settle. It helps you to show up boldly, and you know that I'm a Nigerian job, I have experience now, I can do it. When you are not educated, you limit yourself. You are quick to feel like inferior to those that have the knowledge, of which schooling helps you to not feel like that. Traditional setting of going to school, it's also important. Eliminates you being distracted. School is useless. You can get rich without it. Maybe Dangote did not even go to school, but along the line, so that he is not being taken advantage of, I'm sure he got some form of qualification or some form of skills to abase himself to be successful in the business world. And while it's true that some people succeed without formal education, this message is often misleading, and I feel like kids nowadays are picking up to say, oh, I don't want to go to college, I don't want to go to school. After all, I can still be rich without it. Education greatly reduces vulnerability. Many of the people who say school is useless, they're just being lazy. School is hard. For you to be successful in life, you need to take hard decisions. Our children are going through a lot, just being subjected to going to school. But then we need to build them for the world. The other day, someone posted something online, and the person was saying something like, oh, if you're in abroad or if you're outside the country, you need to give your kids names that are easy to pronounce to avoid the kids being bullied. Why would I lose my identity just to please someone else? The Chinese, the Pakistanis, they don't give their kids English names just to fit in. So you seeing the names, I know where this person is from, is something. Then I will give my child an English name. For what? Part of you educating your child to know and understand the importance of their name, to know the meaning of their name. So if someone tries to bully them, they can stand up to the person, explain to the person the meaning of the name, and the person would shut up. Skills are important, but skills without structure can be very limiting. School teaches more than content. It teaches discipline. It teaches deadlines. It teaches you critical thinking, of which you might not be able to learn those things on the internet, except you are a genius. So that is why I still believe that, schooling is important. It teaches you problem solving. It teaches you encouragement. It teaches you collaboration. If you're seeing somebody else thrive in something you struggle with, because you see that they can do it, it motivates you to want to do better, to want to try. But if you're at home and you don't go to school, you don't have these transferable skills. Even if you don't use your degree directly, the thinking process stays with you. What I've learned, what I've studied, all the qualifications I have, you can't take it away from me. It's part of who I am. It gives you mental resilience. The credibility stays with you. I can't unlearn the things I've learned. In many industries, education is the entry ticket, even if the real learning happens on the job. School doesn't matter in the internet age. That's another myth we hear. We live in an era of online courses, YouTube tutorials, attend this master class, free information. But access to information is not the same as the traditional going to school. School is only for certain people. I disagree. You are not academic. That's what you hear some kids say. They are not academic. Oh, I'm too old. I'm too busy. School is simply structured. Education is a lifesaver. Education may not make you rich, but it can save you from exploitation, save you from ignorance, save you from unsafe environments. It saves you from limited options. It saves you from boxing yourself to think, oh, you can only do one certain kind of job. If you break your leg tomorrow, you're a footballer. That's all you know. You break your leg, you can't play football. You can go into business if you have the education. It expands your choices, and having choices is power, whether we like it or not. Education is insurance. It's not a lottery. That's schooling that you said, oh, your parents forced you to finally do it. Maybe your insurance in life. You hope you never need it, but when you do, it matters. It becomes the difference. Having options and having none. You wait. Where do you want to be? Balance truth is school plus skills equals sustainability, and that is all I hope that we want and we are looking for. Education builds the foundation. Skills build the house. One without the other can collapse under pressure to be properly guided. And with this, I'll wrap up. Should we still encourage our kids going to school, having that quality education, or we should just say there's no point, just do you, boo? Do whatever works for you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Like this video, share with someone that needs to hear this. Stay blessed, and bye for now.